Hello everyone, this is Albert Alvarez, tech specialist with America's Readiness for Citrix. What we're going to do in this quick video, we're going to show you the process of configuring and enabling Symantec PKI integration with XenMobile. I'm going to be using this for um, certificates in order to do user authentication. It could be used for VPN access. This also could be used for wireless certificates to be, provided access via certificate, and we also gonna leverage the integration for user authentication certificate based on the from workzone into NetScaler in order to access the store and other resources. So what we're looking at here is this is a Symantec PKI cloud portal. This is basically once you have an account successfully created with Symantec, this is where you will be going to log in and getting, creating your certificate profiles. You can see the issue certificates, revoke certificates. There's also a couple of configuration needs to be done on this side in order to establish communication from the MDM server into this. So I have a PowerPoint deck that's added to this video. Be part of it on the blog. So what you can do is just do what I do, and I'm following that PowerPoint step by step, which I created previously. So once we hear, the first thing we want to know is we actually need to make some notes of to connect to this because we're gonna be coming back and forth from the MDN server into here. So we're gonna go into so we're using this tool called Protocol. The Protocol is actually it's a free tool. You can download, just Google it, and you guys can see here. It's a Java-based tool. So we're just gonna launch this. Just make sure you have Java installed. And the first thing we want to do is, if you follow the documentation, we're actually going to go and we're going to create a new key store. We use JKS as our default. We're going to use JKS default. That's what's supported by our system. So to create a key store, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to go into tools, going to generate a key pair. It's going to be default 2048. I usually call this XenMobile. Again, this is irrelevant. This is just to create a certificate, a key store. Change for the certificate. Now, can name anything. Doesn't matter. This could be, yeah. This is the email address that's gonna be used for notification when that certificate is expiring. For purposes, I just and then. So you're gonna use an alias name, XenMobile, and we're gonna provide a password. All right, so you create it. You guys can see here. This is XenMobile. Here, XenMobile. Create it. So next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna actually right-click here, and we're gonna generate a certificate request. I'm gonna call that XenMobile CSR, and I'm gonna just keep it in the same folder for now. That's fine. Generate that. So once we generate that, I can minimize this for now. We're gonna go and find that request. Put it in my downloads file inside here. And this is my XenMobile CSR request, was created today. You guys can see there. Here it is. Whoa. All right. So I'm gonna open that. You can see this is a certificate request. Make sure you select it all. So usually go select all, copy. All right, we can minimize this. I'm gonna go now into back to a Symantec cloud portal, and you see uh, connecting services. You're gonna see here. There's a get a RA certificate. What the RA certificate, the remote access certificate, is gonna provide the SSL handshake into the Symantec's infrastructure. I'm gonna request that. Just paste that request that we just copy here. Continue. And this is going to allow you to download now that response from the CA, the Symantec. Take a minute. So once it's completed, it's going to tell you here to download. You see issue to the name they put in the company what created a Symantec request. Just going to save this guy. And see it here. It's on my download folder. It's already downloaded. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the tool, the protocol tool that we're using to create this, and we're going to right click again and we're going to import the CA reply. So they went into my download folders. There is, should be here. You can sort by date, I guess. There you goes. I've done this a couple times. Fine. We're gonna add the root in a minute. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So the next thing we're gonna do now, we're actually gonna go ahead and go back to the Symantec page. Takes a minute or two. All right. So we're back on the page. So if you guys see it here in the corner, there's a tab here that says resources. Click in there. And on the web services, you're gonna see it's a package that says Symantec PKI web services. Reason why maybe using this one is because that's the format that we're required to use for an MDM. So we're gonna go ahead and download that folder into your computer and save it. It's downloading. It's gonna take a few minutes. All right, so we already downloaded a folder. We're gonna look. Should be here in the downloads, I think. So by date, you're gonna see this is a Symantec folder. Yeah, you could create a folder. You can just create a new folder here where you can start putting everything, call it Symantec, PKI, files, whatever. It's up to you. I'm gonna go here and get that file that we downloaded, and we're gonna extract all, and let's download it to that folder I just created. Extracting that. Let's just take a minute. All right, so you see there is a folder called certificates. So there's few files we're going to use from here. We're actually going to use this guy, published by my certificate authority, so CA, and then we're going to use actually, I'm sorry. I'm going to be using this guy and this guy. We're going to be using the Symantec managed PKI, and we're going to be using the intermediate. Right, so once we have that, we're going to go ahead here and we're going to actually import trusted certificates and look for that folder that we created. We're going to go ahead and add test write root cert. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yes. Okay. And we're also going to go ahead and import the intermediate. Okay, once you have this set up, it looks like this. We're going to save this. Give it a password. I'm going to put it on same folder I created. I call this guy RA.jks. Right, we don't need this for now. For now, we should be good. We should be good with what we need from the Symantec PKI side. So what I'm going to do next, we're going to actually have an instance, my MDM server here. We're going to be using that for testing as well. And dock this to make it better. Yes. All right. So there are some files that I need to get. I'm going to put on this server. All right. So once we're back on the MDM server, we're going to go into the root C drive. We're going to create a folder here. We're going to call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it Symantec. And I put all those files there. So the first thing I want to do, I want to get this WAR Word file, which is our web application for Symantec. And get this guy out of here. I just want to cut it because I want to get it out of there. I'm going to go now into our program files. Right now, you could use any Apache server for this. I'm going to install it on the same MDM server that we already have Tomcat running there. Just drop it in there. Get a lot of questions that, where should I run this? It's basically an Apache server that's going to make a connection to the Symantec PKI. So you can have it. You can have multiple Apache servers if you want. Just load balance that behind a NetScaler with a virtual IP round robin, whatever you want to do. This is completely outside of what we're trying to accomplish. But yeah, we do recommend they have it on a standalone server. All of this is a web applications. So you put that in there. You see it gets extracted. You're going to go into web INF and you go into classes. You're going to see there's a GPKI adapter here. So we're going to go ahead and edit this. The text editor should work. So we're going to use like WordPad, Notepad to edit. It doesn't really matter. See the file here. If you look at the content of the file, all we're going to do here, we actually going to tell them where we're going to point it. So the default is SendPrice. I'm just going to call it now Symantec. That's it. That's what we're changing here for now. Save it. Yes. Okay, so we go back now to that. Once it is saved, we're going to go back to that folder. You're going to see here that we have our remote access certificate. We also have our C8 certificate, which I'm going to change this. And you're going to see now this custom adapter. You have several options here. If you're using partner test or if you're using production, I'm going to switch this to the production because I'm going to be creating my profiles production. Nice, right? So then we go tell them where that RA is going to be. So you guys remember that it's on Symantec folder. And I call it RA. It's out of here. Because I did call it just RA, that JKS, right? Gotta give it a password. Citrix 1, 2, 3. And then you're gonna see, you're gonna look for the actual root also. And then change the password. The password should be the same. If we have any problem with that, we can always replace it, but that should be it. That's basically it. We close this here. Save it. And as we install the application local here, we're just gonna go HTTP localhost /Symantec. I get questions like, why localhost? You put it on a different server, it doesn't really matter. I just go in here. It's just gonna point to the app, so it doesn't really. So what we're doing now, we're launching the web app that we install. You can see this here. So we're actually gonna need to click here to get the location where to look for the file. Now let's say, for example, because I get this asked all the time. Say if I go here say if I go here, it's the IP 172.30.275. Even make it even simpler. So let's see, change this rather than using just to clarify. Using host name because I'm here. It's gonna point to a connector, but I do sn as Citrix that lab. Send me to the same place. So we're gonna put the connector to localhost. It will be looking on the server where that application is installed into the local host. So you so it has nothing to do with the location, the name of the server. So we're gonna copy this for now. And the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna open a different tab here. So we're gonna need that. We're gonna go to Alright, so we're gonna continue here, and we actually gone into the XenMobile device manager, so you can get to the URL/CDM, and now we're gonna go into options. And the first thing, another thing we gotta do, we're gonna go back into Symantec PKI. We're gonna manage CAs, figure authority. Takes a minute. We're gonna go here. We're gonna download the manage PKI root certificate. Save that file. And this has been downloaded into my downloads. Says CA public CA2, so I'm gonna use that one. So well, first thing we're going to options, and then we're gonna look for PKI certificate, and we're gonna upload that certificate that I just downloaded. You guys saw I just downloaded it. So my downloads, CA public set this guy here. I'm gonna upload. For the first step. Next step, we're gonna go into entities. I'm gonna create a new generic. See, we're gonna create a new generic. We're gonna go new generic entity. I'm gonna call this guy Symantec. And then we're gonna get that URL that we saw that we created on the previous server. I actually have the information here, my text file. I'm gonna copy and paste. So once you click on that connector that you saw, the localhost URL, I'm gonna put it here. We don't select anything for authentication, we just leave it as that for now, and we load it. So what we should see now is on capability, we see the certificate ID profile. and a certificate parameter options here. Then going to a CA, we're going to add, you see that we uploaded the CA earlier. We'll select it, add it, and we're going to create that entity. All right, so it's already created. Same we want to do here, we're going to go into credentials provider now. And I'm going to call this guy Symantec just to keep it standard. Description, Symantec, PKI with XenMobile. Look for the entity we created, Symantec, and you might want to make sure that you're going to sign and you actually click on sign. So we'll just bring in the parameter values here. In order for you to enter the values. So this is important because what you're going to see now that it's looking for value. If you click there, and you click here, it's going to look for a different set of values. Right. So where do you get this from now? This is a good, I get this question a lot. So you're going to go back now into your Symantec cloud. What we got to do here now, we're going to go into, on the bottom, you see these little several icons here. You're going to go back to manage certificate profiles. Click on that. I don't have any created, so I'm going to do it all from scratch. You're going to add certificate profile. I'm going to use production like I mentioned, just to keep it synchronized with what I would be saying. And I mentioned that we do use MDM. It's important that you guys know the options that I have. You can see here. We're going to use MDM web services, right? So select this guy. I'm going to continue it. I'm going to give it a friendly name. We're going to call it XenMobile. MDM. Let's call it XenMobile PKI. We don't need to make any change. We don't make any. We're going to just use UPN, so we don't make any advanced options. You want to look through them, you can see. But we're actually going to be using UPN for this one. Save it. Yes. So you guys can see here, certificate profile OID. So we're going to start on the number 2. I'm going to copy that. And you're going to go back into our server. And this is, you guys see now, certificate profile ID. We're going to end the value. We're going to paste that. Sure there's no spaces. That created problems to me in the past. No spaces. And then in the certificate parameters. So the set parameters, we're going to be using UPN, but we're going to add an additional common names. I have this defined on the PowerPoint. They're going to be added to it, so I'm just going to paste in here. Make sure there's no spaces. You actually copy it from the notes in the bottom. You see common name equals $ user that username, and user principal name. We also have mail and so on, but this is what we're going to use. So we're going to add this. In a minute, we're going to go back to CSR now, and CSR we're going to fill this up. We don't really use this, but we're going to populate it so we can complete the installation. So I already had that information in the notes from the PowerPoint. So we're going to just do CN name equals $ user that username. Now we're going to change this guy to prefer centralized. And we're going to find the certificate we already added. So we don't add anything else from revocation or at this point, or renewal at this point. So we're just going to go ahead and add it. So basically this should complete the configuration from the Symantec side. So what we're going to do now is, in order for me to test this, the best way to do it is just creating credentials before we go into WorkZone and everything else. Just for basic validation that the certificate is being generated and pushed from the Symantec PKI and that the MDM server can talk to it. So I'm going to create a new configuration, and I'm going to do a credential configuration. So in this case, I'm going to call it Symantec. You need to fill everything out, Symantec, and you can descriptions, you can call it just PKI. All these three parameters to be. So in credential, we're going to switch to credential provider. And you'll see that we have our Symantec integration there. I create that. I pause for a second. And then next, what we're going to do, we're actually going to create a package just for us to test. And you can then apply whatever type of packages and policies you guys use to add this, because it's just a policy. I'm going to apply it to my AD users. And the configuration, we're going to see Symantec now. Next, and just finish it. I'm not going to push it yet. I need to do some settings on my phone so I can test it. You guys will see that in a minute. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and enroll now. Using our demo center to do this. So. Right, so as you can see, it failed the first time, just because it will try to build the libraries. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna go back over here and close here. I'm gonna redeploy this back to the device. Look at this timestamp. Yeah, whatever. Just looking for the Symantec. As you look, it's giving me a lot of like set of auto compliance in here. Boy. So let's see now. Now it's there. Alright, so we can resume here and we can actually take a look, and you can see that success, very important. So you guys see this, the Symantec certificate there. If I remove it, go back over here, just to show process. Okay, say deploy again. Back over here. And there it is. We got a Symantec certificate being pushed. Now, if we go now into, close this guy.